I can't go on my honeymoon because my fiancé isn't vaccinated. How can I get past the resentment? Me, 25F, and my fiancé, 27 meters, are getting married in June. We had booked our honeymoon to Germany. It's a really important trip to me because we had been planning to do it since right at the start of our relationship, but it kept being put off due to deaths in the family. Then the pandemic, etc., etc. So it feels like this trip has been a promise of our entire relationship. Finally, I thought we had a chance to do this trip. But Germany changed their entry requirements and absolutely will not let unvaccinated travelers in. When we booked, they just required a negative PCR from unvaccinated travelers. My fiancé has a needle phobia and absolutely refuses to get vaccinated. We have fought about it bitterly, especially after one of my friends died from COVID. But he refuses to budge. His attitude is, oh well, we will just have to cancel and have the honeymoon in our country. I'm deeply upset. I feel like it's horrible to start my marriage with a sacrifice because of his selfishness and stubbornness. I've tried to explain to him that traveling is really important to me, and his decision is locking us out of both this important trip and any travel for the foreseeable future. Before lockdown, I used to travel a lot. He apologized, but won't change his mind. I don't want to break off the wedding over such a petty thing, but I can't make him change his mind. I feel like I'll just be disappointed and resentful on any honeymoon we end up going on locally. For the record, I don't mind traveling in my country, it's more about what it would represent, rather than the holiday itself. Also, that we will have to cancel and rebook an entire holiday in 2 months. How do I get past his stubbornness and stop this fostering resentment? How do I give up the part of myself that loves to travel? Or is it just not possible? Sorry you're going through this. Is it purely because of a needle phobia? I feel like he should be contacting some DRS to see if they can administer it in a way for people with phobias. Surely he's had to have other injections in his life? I would be devastated if I had to cancel my holiday over this. I have so many questions and can't offer real advice until you explain the situation further. When you say he has a phobia, are you sure it's an actual phobia? Has he had other injections before? Would he put some level of not going through with travel injections to, say, India or Africa? Has he traveled at all? Is he interested in seeing the world? Is your resentment because he's offered no concession? He hasn't made any effort to try and receive the injection? Just an apology? People have taken Valium, a support person, etc., whilst I have provided injections. Nurse. I've had lots of people who hate needs and need a lot of extra special care. And only one who's ever passed out from having his blood taken. I'm just struggling with the idea he has such a big phobia of needles he couldn't go through with it for such a big reward. And maybe he does and you just haven't said so. Seriously though, I could give an injection in less than 3 seconds. I kind of have the feeling he's more anti-COVID injection? Has this affected his work? Has he expressed any other funny views on COVID? Is the reason you're finding it hard to get past this because he often makes the decisions and you have to follow, or is this your ultimate forever trip? Would you be able to travel solo? Would he accept that? Do you otherwise feel happy with the upcoming marriage? Do you feel heard and that your opinion and views matter? If I was dealing with someone who wouldn't budge, the argument is about having someone that won't compromise. I'm just not sure how right or wrong either of you are. Tell him your fears. That resentment is poison to a marriage. Ask if he will consider therapy. There are even free needle phobia hypnosis tracks on YouTube. I believe they now have the vaccine in pill form too. Does he get therapy or his phobia? If not, this issue is with you for years, and even with needle phobia he can get a shot. It will be crappy experience, but it takes 10 seconds. Say people with air phobia still fly. On meds, but anyway. Oh well, we will just have to cancel and have the honeymoon in our country. This, plus resistance to vaccinate, are two major red flags and you two should sit and talk about right now. In my experience, this attitude of him will only progress, and more often than not, when you need him to compromise, there will be more and more oh wells. Go without him, and if he whines, tell him to stop being a little bitch and get the fucking shot. These rules could be in place for years. The possibility of never going abroad with your husband isn't petty. That would be enough for me to leave. If you guys are planning on having kids in the future, is he willing to get vaccinated to protect them? Go without him. Why should you have to sacrifice a pre-planned trip because of his selfishness? Go without him. Better yet, break up and find someone who cares about you. I read a lot of selfish BS on here, and this one is top 10 for sure. You realize this marriage is doomed, right? He's selfish, stubborn and ignorant. This is not a petty thing. He's showing you how he will behave when you want something he doest when you divorce him. You'll look back on this moment and realize that this is when you should have left. I would rethink the marriage. This is a big deal. Sorry you are faced with this. Please consider if you want to have this fight for the rest of your life before you marry him. I have intense needle phobia. I had not gotten vaccinated since 1998. I had tried once since. Passed out, vomited and went home. I got all 3 shots of the COVID vaccine. If I can do it, he can do it, I promise. My partner had a severe needle phobia but was studying to go into healthcare, as this meant he would have to receive certain jabs. Trained as a treatment radiographer, so would be working with highly vulnerable patients. He decided to get treatment for his phobia. I believe he had CBT therapy, but I would say it's definitely worth chatting to your fiancé about getting treatment, as this is potentially going to have long-term issues, as others have pointed out, when it comes to having kids, traveling, etc. Obviously, there's nothing you can do about your husband's choice if he won't just get it sorted in. Stops being selfish. But you can eventually go traveling without him. Alone or with friends, family. Don't let his decision influence your passions. Traveling abroad alone is really freeing, tbh. Actually, it sounds like he can't go on your honeymoon, which is a shame, but it's his choice. Have fun without him and let him see that you won't be dictated by his stupid decisions. Even as his wife. Maybe especially as his wife, lol. I don't usually comment, but I am actually disgusted he has zero interest in making you happy on your honeymoon. I can tell he's super self-absorbed. Don't be nice anymore. You don't need another pussy. Tell him you are having second thoughts about how much of a man he is. He can't even withstand a 2-second needle prick that doesn't even hurt. For your dream honeymoon? Location flag, location flag. You're still young. Find someone that would actually do anything for you. Don't ever give up your love to travel. Give up him for someone who loves to travel. FYI, this is not a petty thing to break up over. I'm not saying you should. But it certainly shouldn't be you compromising your love of travel because he's a wimp that won't protect himself and you from a very nasty virus. Go to Germany without him. Go around the world with friends. Maybe just immediately book a weekend somewhere to show him you will not stop traveling because of his choices. Maybe it'll be the kick needed to get himself vaccinated. This is about more than one trip. Do you really want to either take separate vacations or stop traveling for many years? Indefinitely? I would suddenly have a phobia of marriage.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.